Hello guys, welcome back to late Friday night's Banter Blitz after some break. Actually, the main reason why I didn't broadcast last week was that on Friday I was already on my way to Meissen to play my very first games in Bundesliga. And as you probably already know, I was quite successful, so on Saturday I won Daniele Vocaturo, rated 2600s plus, and on Sunday, I was playing with white against Zoltan Almashi 2700s and actually played a draw. But now back to Blitz, which is actually not that simple after classic chess. So let's see if I will be successful today. And just let me know what is going on to the stream. Is it all fine, or maybe there are some problems? We'll be happy to read this in chat. Chat is quite active tonight. Very, very impressive. All right. So just as usual, I will try to play several games. Against the guys who I never played before. And then we will come back to the normal order of challenges. So let's see. We have a lot of challenges already. And here we go. So, Donji, Cramming Student, Phenomen, Pawnholder, Sebi, Arthur Ostrovskiy, Johan Wilhelm Möbius, Schellingford, even Viney 2K. We have already played Butterfly, Graf von Palen. Wow, already played. Probably changed the nickname, I don't know. And here is Athanasios Makris from Greece, 5 minutes. Premium user, accept. We've never played before. The stream looks good. Okay. Audio is okay. Great. So e4, e5. Here we go. Knight f3, knight c6. Bishop b5, a6. So real up is nothing new. Bishop a4. Okay. Looks like a main line, but there are also some sidelines. Still possible. For example, after bishop e7, it's possible to play d4. Cramming Student prefers playing d4 here. But rook e1, okay. Here we go. b5, bishop b3, d6. c3. Is it possible to change nickname? I think yes, it is possible. Should be at least. Because I can't remember that I played the guy nicknamed like that. But I definitely remember the logo. The avatar, I guess. So, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not possible to change the nickname. Castles. Alright, h3, h6. Just as usual here. Andrey has something against d4, says Cramming Student. Right. So you should think twice prior to playing it. Alright. a4. Okay, so the main move is d4. a4 is also absolutely playable here. Now there is a choice between playing bishop b7 and bishop d7. Just want to try bishop b7 in this game. Usually I put the bishop on d7. Looks slightly more solid if compared to bishop b7. So now after d4 there might be a transposition to Zaitsev system if white wants. Bishop c2, bishop f8. And the idea here is that I can take on d4 and then play knight b4, c5, and so forth. One of the very popular Zaitsev system lines. I don't remember the theory here. So I used to play this many years ago, but I just don't remember it. So let's try to play logical moves. At the moment, knight d7 is a move just to control e5 additionally, and to be able to undermine the center with the help of f7, f5. This is one idea, one direction here. Another one is to support the knight b4 in the sense of fighting for d3 square and to play something like c4, knight c5, and knight d3. So which one to choose here? As far as I remember, main line is not knight f1, but I might be wrong. There should be something like rook a3. It was tested in a variety of different games and different levels. Also between Kasparov and Karpov. Knight g3. Alright, let's go to d3. Let's go to d3. Good square after all. So, what can I do against this knight e3? Usually there is an idea of sacrificing the exchange. By the way, knight b3 is also a threat here after knight c5. Kind of threat. I'm not sure that it is a great idea. I mean, to bring the knight to b3. After rook a3, there will be like a possibility of just taking the bishop on c1, but my main target here is, of course, bishop b1, the Spanish bishop. I want to grab that guy first and foremost. So let's go and do it. Knight to d3. Let's see if white will have a chance to stay calm when such a monster lands on d3 square, just controlling everything. Knight to e1. Okay, this already looks very passive. Now I can take on c1. Can play knight b3, attacking the queen, and the rook on a1. And just grab the rook. So queen goes to c2. What is important, I take on a1 with the tempo, so queen on c2 will be hanging. And there is no e5 idea, which is very cool. Yeah, it's lost already. So what to do instead of playing this knight f1, knight g3? I guess there is something like ab5, rook a3, or maybe rook a3 immediately. Multi-purpose move, just to bring the rook to g3 if possible. In many cases, I saw that the knight on d2 just stays here to control important b3 square. And this knight f3 simply goes to h2, then rook goes to g3, and only after that white starts thinking of what to do with this knight d2. If I'm not mistaken, there was an interesting game between Vishy Anand and Mickey Adams, just like the classics of contemporary chess, crush and attack, but of course analytics found some better ways for black to survive it. But still, so white has to do something connected with the attack on the king side here, and the best way to do that is to bring the rook through a3 to g3 at some point. So black can continue with this c4, and after that, very complicated position arises. So there are some lines with knight e4, but after knight e4, there are some ideas like knight to d3 at some point, then b4. I mean, maybe not immediately, but after knight c5. Or maybe knight e5. Sometimes black sacrifices the pawn on b5, so position is really complicated. After knight f1 and c4, most likely something like knight e4 was interesting. just attacking b5 at least. Also interesting move could be connected with the bishop d2, attacking my knight b4, forcing me to d3, just taking it, and trying to do something with this pawn on d3. Probably just immediately placing the bishop somewhere on c3, let's say, just attacking this. But I guess I should be fine after, let's say, knight c5 counter-attacking this e4 and a4 simultaneously. So this is probably not the best way for for white to play this. So I would say something like knight d4 would be interesting, because knight g3 just gives me this knight c5, where after, as we may notice, I have the access already to b3 to d3 squares, so it's already starting looking quite annoying for white. That's my idea. All right, let's go further. What do we have? Do we have somebody else whom I never played before? Most likely, yes. Let's see. So we stopped here, page c1, 2, 3. We have already played several times. Chase Paul, we have never played before, so premium user accept. And playing with white. Let's go e4, g6, d4, knight c3. So what is that? Okay, combination of g6 and c6 makes sense. So it's quite popular opening. Let's try something aggressive. h4. So let me know, guys, how was that last week? Did you follow me online or not? That's interesting. So playing something really crazy, I don't think it is 100% correct. So now, for example, d4 pawn is hitting, so I have to spend the time on protecting it. I guess you would choose between knight e2 and bishop e3. Bishop e3 is slightly more logical because I want a castle long eventually. So it makes sense to combine protecting d4 pawn and also preparing the castling. Knight f6. Okay, now h5 is hitting, but I can play h6, just forcing the bishop to f8, which may be or maybe not that great for white. I failed to open up position on the king side. On the other hand, I kind of break the coordination of black's pieces slightly. So let's try this. Just interesting. So queen d2 castling. Couple of logical moves. Don't G, I'm talking about Bundesliga. So German league started 1 week ago. And that was broadcasted live on Chess24. Okay, bishop e6. An interesting move just to exert some pressure on a2. At the same time, this kind of stops black from playing e6 and developing the bishop, so potentially may be ugly. Let's do. Queen a5, a2 is hanging. So king b1 or a3? That's a good question. If I play a3, there is b5, which may be not very good. But if I play king b1, there should be something like knight d5, but in this case I take on d5. If I want, queen takes d2, there should be something intermediate like knight c7. There should be compensation, I guess. A3 is slightly more accurate, I believe, but yeah, let's try king b1. Knight d7. All right. How to develop the pieces now? So black is ready to castle. Can I play something like d5 now? That's an interesting question. But I think after cd5, black is absolutely fine. So I guess knight h3 should be played. Just to bring the knight to g5 or maybe f4 to disturb this bishop. And if black castles, for example, and I play knight g5, this bishop is kind of pinned to f7 pawn, tied by defending this guy on f7, which is very important in my opinion. Alright, my son is screaming already. So what is the defense against this knight g5 or knight f4? Not that clear, right? Not that clear. If bishop takes h3, well, I will be happy, because at least I will have a pair of bishops to compensate this missing pawn. But castling. So what's going on? If I play just knight g5, it looks really natural and very promising. Just want to grab this guy on e6 and damage the pawn structure completely. There is, of course, knight c5, protecting the bishop on e6, because my pawn d4 is pinned, but I think I can go away with the queen after that, for example to e1, and the knight on c5 will be hanging as well as the bishop on e6. After the knight goes away, I just take the bishop. Oh no, knight b6 instead. Alright, I think I don't have to hesitate here, I just have to grab this automatically. Looks really good. Great achievement. Now, is there a tactical blow against this queen a5, which is hanging? So can I play something like knight b5? I don't think so. So knight b5, queen d2, knight takes a7, king goes to b8, or to c7, and my knight is simply stuck there. I think it's not very good. So what to do instead? What to do instead? I guess just to attack this pawn e6 somehow. Yeah, why not just g3, let's say. Simply intending to put the bishop on h3, attacking this pawn. Alright, position is being opened gradually. So king here, now I have to go away with the queen. Now there is this threat of just taking on e5. Yeah, I probably underestimated black's, takes d4 and followed by e5. Forgot about this possibility, unfortunately. But if e5, then bishop takes e5 check and the rook on d8 is hanging. That's the point. Okay, so everything is fine. What to do now? To take on d5 is one option. Another one is just to take on e4, which I like more. Yeah, I'll just take on e4, I guess. It's the best move. Maybe I'm just overestimating my position to know. There was bishop h6, which was completely unclear. But after rook g8, okay, bishop e6 just forces rook back. Please go back, dear. And now, well, I can play knight g5 if I want. Can also try bishop e5. There are so many different continuations that are quite promising. I think knight g5 is the most logical one. Just want to bring my knight to f7. If knight c3, then bishop c3. I think it's winning by force. If knight b4, then a2 is already protected by my bishop e6. So this looks extremely ugly. Unless I blundered something, but I think I didn't. Alright. c5. Okay, just check. Why not knight f7 now? Yeah, absolutely lost position. So I think the critical moment was somewhere here after bishop to f8. So bishop f8, queen goes to d2. First of all, to start with this position, right? So I'm not sure if white has anything convincing against queen b6, honestly. Simply attacking b2, right? So very natural reaction against bishop e3. My bishop went away, b2 is kind of vulnerable now, and queen b6 just attacks the pawn. I don't think there is anything convincing. Maybe something like a3, queen b2, knight a4, and the queen is kind of trapped. So yeah, maybe I can stop this with the easy move a3. But still, I don't like white's position just because I can't really play queen d2 now. No, I can play queen d2 in fact, because if queen b2 then rook b1, but then a3 is hanging. So at least this move creates some annoying pressure on the queen side. I don't know, maybe it wasn't that great. Maybe something like queen a5 was better, slightly, just more active continuation, pinning my knight already and preparing castling long, because castling short is probably not possible here anymore. Okay, knight f6 is the move that gives me a chance to play h6. That's why I don't really like it, because after bishop f8 there are some problems maybe. So queen d2, and here at least I would never ever occupy e6 square with the bishop. So I would have placed it on g4, let's say, just preventing castling, maybe intending to exchange it on e2. Maybe I would have played something like bishop f5, just protecting e4 additionally, and having in mind something like e6 and then development of the bishop. Something like that. But definitely position of the bishop on e6 is ugly in my opinion, and after very simple series of moves I just played knight h3, knight g5. Well, that was already very, very good for white, I think, very promising. So maybe here just bishop takes h3 was still playable, but definitely not this, because after this, come on, knight b6 I just take, and well, even if I don't win immediately, I already have a serious compensation for a pawn, again at very least, but I do believe already here I have serious advantage. Once again, maybe I overestimate my position, but this looks very promising. Okay, in any case, let's go further. Here is Martin K. We have already played, so I want to play somebody I've never played before. Carno123, I'm sorry, you're not a premium user, and well, fortunately, I noticed that. This guy is Toria Mahmud, but for some reason I did what? Pending friendship request. All right, so accept. We have never played before, right? All right, let's do it. Playing with black pieces. Drink a lot of coffee, guys, because I actually had very bad sleep last night because of my active kid, and actually had to work right from the early morning. I mean, training some of my students and actually fighting with falling asleep all day long. Okay, bishop c4, bishop c5. Let's go and play Italian. No Italian, just a Evans Gambit. Wow, cool. And queen b3. Okay, so the main line is d4. And here, queen f6 and queen e7 are the moves. Don't know which one is better. Let's play queen e7. Bishop a3. This forces me to play d6, I guess. Castles. Okay, let me remember. So now d4 is a threat with the idea of playing d5 after that, and when my knight goes away, there will be check on a4 or b5. So after castling, I think it makes sense for me to play bishop b6. But I might be wrong. Maybe just simple knight f6, d4, and castling should do the trick. Yeah, I guess that is the way. So knight f6, completing a development, I mean, and having an extra pawn. So d4 castles, d5, knight simply goes away, there is no check anymore. And if d5, then knight e5, knight e5, queen e5, I'm completely satisfied with that, so f7 is also protected. Well, unless I miss something, my position already looks quite good. Right, so extra pawn, and I can't really see the compensation. So I'm not that awfully developed. In fact, I'm developed very well with black, and the main point of sacrificing the pawn here is just to get the superior development, and I definitely failed to achieve anything. All right, so extra pawn is the extra pawn. Rook e1, come on, so knight g4 looks just crushing. Let's play knight g4. There is no knight on f3, so it's a typical thing, just to attack h2. And I will combine it with the attack against f2. So queen h5 now, or to start with bishop b6. I don't know which move is better. Both look very, very attractive. I'll start with bishop b6 here. Just attacking f2. Forcing the rook to e2 or maybe f1. Both are ugly. Rook e2, now queen h5, right? Yeah, queen h5. Attacking h2. Forcing h4. There is no other defense. And now I guess everything should go against this position. But probably the most logical will be to take on f2. So knight takes f2, rook takes f2, queen goes to f3, attacking the rook. Probably queen takes b6 after that, might be annoying. But then queen g3 check, rook g2, queen e1, and then I take the queen. Okay, this doesn't work. So knight f2, rook f2, queen f3, queen c2, most likely protecting the rook, where after I have bishop h3, or queen takes g3. I think I will start with the bishop h3. Should be somehow winning. Yeah, let's try it. Of course, knight e5 is also just a normal move here, alright? But okay. Queen f3. So queen b6 then, queen g3 check, rook g2, queen e1 check, and then takes the queen. Which means the only defense of the rook on f2 now is queen to c2. Whereafter, I just bring my bishop to h3, completing the development and creating a sort of a queen g2 checkmate. Alright. Alright. Queen g2 checkmate is just a bold threat. Nice one, by the way. So bishop f1 is forced, in my opinion. Then I take on g3 and take on f2. With a decisive material and positional advantage. Yeah, queen takes g3. Yep. If bishop g2, I just take with the queen. Yeah, with the checkmate. All right, nice, very nice. So if white wants to achieve anything, then after bishop a3 and d6, he has to play d4 immediately. That is the point. And only after black takes on d4, which is probably not the best move, here, then castling. So trying to open up a position, and the point behind d4 here, when the king is still on e8, that after d5, there is a threat of queen b5 when the knight goes away, attacking the bishop. So black has to make a decision here about how to protect it, or maybe just to have a counterplay against it. But castling gives me a chance to, yeah, continue in a very natural way, just knight f6, d4 castles. Now, you don't have threats, and I'm just absolutely fine. And finally, this rook e1, decisive mistake. But I understand that you wanted to protect e4, because if you play something passive like h3 or maybe knight e2, I can grab a lot of pawns. Let's say if knight goes to d2, I just take on c3. If h3, I just take on e4 with the technically winning position. Okay, now let's go to normal order of challenges and play Don G, because he was the first challenger according to the list I have. Let's go. e4. c5. Knight f3. d6. d4. Sicilian defense. Classical Sicilian or Najdorf. Probably Najdorf. Don't remember what did I play against Don G here, but let's play h3, g4 this way. Knight c6, okay, bishop g2. And here I think I have something like knight c6 and e5. Typical thing. That's why if you play knight c6 after bishop appears on g2, you have to protect it additionally, I guess. What's wrong with that? The pawn structure is just ugly with this c6 and a6 pawn. If well, black has this great fist of pawns in the center, it's okay. But now we can see that pawns e5 and d6 are being exchanged. Knight e5. Okay, so ed6 or knight e4 are quite promising. I think that ed6 should be played here to start with. Now it's not a curious attack, it's just an h3 line in against d6 a6. Fischer played that, by the way. But it looks like curious attack, and there are a lot of transpositions, a lot of similar ideas, of course. So now I think I can castle if I want, because knight c3 is still dubious because of bishop takes c6, but I think my main idea here is to get rid of this knight e5, so just to bring my knight to e4 and then to play c4 at some point. So let's do it directly. I guess there is nothing wrong with this plan. So my knight also goes to the center, as we may notice, and then once I play c4, I get rid of this central knight d5, which is in my opinion the main compensation for this ugly pawn structure. Alright, so let's play c4. Let's play c4. Bishop e7. Oh, sorry, knight f6, bishop e7 was already played. But now I can take on f6 and take on c6. I think it's just a blunder. Or maybe black wants to force me to play being up in exchange. On the other hand, having quite losing position. No, I don't want to do it. So probably I have to just take on d7, have an extra pawn in this endgame. Alright, is it good for me? I think it should be convertible. But is this bishop takes d7 the best move? I'm not sure. On the other hand, if I play something like queen d6, there are a lot of tricks I should calculate. So yeah, let's just take on d7. Come on. Can't be bad, right? Just to play with the extra pawn. Now I have to solve the problem of b2 pawn. So my bishop is pinned to b2 pawn. Want to start with this move to have a possibility to play b3 in case my c4 is under attack. For example here, why not? Now there is a question, do I want to simplify to the rook endgame or maybe keep the bishop on the board? I'm not sure which one is better, so I don't think my bishop is bad actually. So let's keep it on the board, for example, placing it on e3. Very comfortable setup, I guess. Bishop f6, a5, everything is like gradually going to a4, but with the idea of opening up the a file maybe and occupying it just after that. But I think I have b4 against a4, so I don't have to be worried about that. Rook b7. Let's take and simplify position slightly. All right, now, what's my plan? What's my plan? Do I want to change the position of my bishop slightly? Maybe yes, maybe no. Let's bring the king here. So now I want to attack this pawn. And that is what I wanted to achieve. So just two connected passed pawns on the queen side. Great. Amazing. Amazing power. It's probably not that clear still. So you have to be careful, especially having only 1 minute on the clock. Alright, here just take. With pleasure. Now. King e4. Looks natural. And just c5. b5. Yeah, let's go there. Let's just go there. No limits. No limits. Rook b8. Okay, b6 should be good. My son is so loud. It's just amazing. Yeah, so it's absolutely lost because now if rook b8 I have rook b6, then king takes c5 and so forth. So actually the game was more or less lost after giving me a chance to take on c6 and playing e5, because after that I already had very comfortable position and the rest was just converting this positional advantage. So after bishop g2, if you want to play this with the knight on c6, you should consider something like queen c7 or maybe bishop d7. Bishop d7 is slightly ugly because of the g5, your knight f6 doesn't have a good square to go away, so I would have played something like queen c7 or maybe even queen b6. Also an interesting idea, just trying to kick my knight away from the center. Then after knight b3 and bishop b3, your queen will go back to the normal square c7, something like that. So after this, I think, well, I have very promising setup, knight e4, c4. So here you should have considered something like bishop b4 check maybe, at least trying to make position less clear. But after bishop b4, I have a feeling that I can even try just king e2. Why not? I mean, after knight goes away, I just take the queen. Anyway, the queens are being exchanged, so position of the king on e2 will be just all right. If you play queen a5, then bishop d2 with a temple makes no sense, of course, for black. But probably you could have just occupied b6 square. Yeah, it's ugly, but in my opinion, still playable. But even here, after simple queen takes queen, if bishop takes, there is knight e6, which is potentially very annoying. If king takes, well, the king can be still an object of attack because we still have a lot of pieces on the board, right? So I can play something simple like b3. And then the next move will be something like bishop e3, attacking the knight, castling, and so forth. It's also ugly position with his bad pawns. That's the idea. All right, let's go further. Cramming Student is here, except the next will be Phenomen. And then Pawn Holder, Grandmaster. Here we go. So e4 followed by d4 later on in Ruy Lopez. Or maybe something else. What did you prepare, my friend? Let's see. d4. Okay, back to classics. All right. So you decided not to try this d4 this time. Sneaky Cramming Student. What did I do? Come on. I just played knight e5 immediately. Seriously? Oh, come on. That was the stupidest thing I did in my life. I mean, yeah, I was just thinking of that line in Ruy Lopez and somehow confused the move order. Oh my goodness. That is really bad. That is really bad. Okay, let's try to justify it somehow. My goodness. This is just bad. Very, very bad for black, but I'll try to hold this position, but it will be really hard. White has very simple development of pieces now. So I don't think there will be an easy life for me. Okay, let's try to counterattack. So e5 is my object. Try to undermine it somehow. Yeah, that was stupid. But okay. It's already the past. So I have to focus on this position. Castles. Alright, of course I will castle as well. So taking on e5 is probably a suicide. So first castling. Now we have to find a counterplay. But it feels like there is no counterplay. Unless I manage to undermine the pawn somehow. Maybe right now, maybe I even have to sacrifice the material right now. So I mean, to play something like d6 or maybe f6, but f6 is extremely ugly in the view of e6 move. So probably if I want to undermine this pawn, I have to choose d6 move. Have no idea what could work here. Let's try d6. Okay. Very close to losing this game. I mean, black, of course. Of course, I could have played with this pawn on d7 and bishop on c8, but it wouldn't take long for white to come up with a decisive attack on the king side if black is so badly developed. That's why I tried to sacrifice some material, but to activate all my pieces, to open up some files, maybe some diagonals and so forth. So now I want to take on d6 and take on f4 maybe. Maybe I can do something else. If I take on d6 and take on f4, then rook simply takes on c6 and I'm a pawn down. And it's already an endgame stage. I don't think I will have sufficient compensation. So instead, it's probably better for me to try something like queen b6. Yeah, queen b6 looks like a move protecting c6. But then c5. Alright. So maybe queen a5 after all. But then queen c6 again is possible, just grabbing the pawn. But in that case, I will probably have something after bishop e6 and then rook c8 with some counterattack. So yeah, let's try queen a5. This looks sharper and probably slightly more promising if compared to queen b6, which gives white extra tempo. After c5, bishop gets to c4 easily and so forth. Don't like it at all. So queen a5. Okay. Yeah, that was for the first time. I mean, that is a common mistake, I guess. Playing this knight e5 prior to playing queen e7. It's very, very easy to confuse this moves. I mean, especially when you play a blitz game. But as far as I remember, it happened to me just for the first time today. I've never did this before. Even when I was playing being drunk. So, yeah, amazing. That was a great practical choice from Cramming Student. So I was definitely expecting like this real opus with d4, early d4. But he played d4 too early, just confusing me. I mean, played d4 even without bishop e5. Okay, Prison Mike says looks winning for Cramming. For Cramming Student, first of all. No, for Cramming. And, well, white still has to win his winning position. That is also the art, right? So bishop e6 maybe now. Or bishop g4. Bishop g4 is an interesting tempo move, by the way. Did my opponent just miss this opportunity, or what is happening? What is happening? So bishop g4, I mean, this gives me extra tempo prior to playing rook d8, attacking the queen. Where the rook goes, that's the question. I'm not sure where, so let's just try it, because if bishop b2, I just take and take on a2. I like this position after that. So let's try to check what my opponent had in mind playing this g3 move. Of course, g3 is logical to protect f4, which is constantly hanging, to have a chance to take on c6. But this position is not only about f4 pawn, but it's also about like development, some threats along d file, and so forth. Rook e1, alright. Now I can start with bishop f3, attacking that rook, most likely forcing it to g1, and then attacking the queen, and where the queen goes. Let's do it. I mean, queen also has some problems with going away. a3 still exists, I understand, but is it really a square for queen? Maybe it is. Yeah, it's still playable, I mean, even after queen a3. Shit. Just wanted to trap this guy after rook d8. Okay. It is not being trapped. Only square, by the way. If I'm not blind. And I'm surely not. But now I definitely don't want to exchange this guy, so I will go here. Attacking h2. I mean, continuing the attack. The most natural thing here. But maybe I just overestimate my position once again. It happens too often to me. Yeah, I probably don't have anything serious. So let's go there. Improving position of the knight to start with. Queen is still ugly there on a3. Yeah, my opponent tries to improve this situation. I think I badly need something like this, just to make the back rank more or less safe, and to prevent knight e4, knight g5 attacking f7. And now I'm free more or less to do something active on the queen side, finally. h4. Alright, what to do now? Queen g6 looks interesting. Attacking g3 and probably intending to land on c2 one day. Okay, let's take on g3 now. Is it possible? That should be possible. Knight to d4. Check. Yeah, position is probably being simplified slightly after this. Okay. Just going away. Now the conversion. No time for it. Yeah, that position is very good now. Yeah. All right, that was a great game. That was a great and interesting game. I think I made a mistake somewhere already after taking on d6. So after queen a5, I do believe there is a much better way to play it. And g3 is definitely not the best. Not the best game. Not the best move, sorry. Leading to not that great game. That's what I wanted to say instead. So queen a5, what to do? Let's think. Probably c5. But c5 also looks risky slightly because of this bishop e6. Most likely just the greedy queen c6 could do the trick. After that, my rook is hanging, right? Queen has a square on b5, so if the queen is attacked along the c file, there's queen b5 usually. So something like bishop g4 shouldn't be that dangerous. I mean, after a simple rook d2 or something. white should be just okay. So after rook c8, queen b5, something like that. I would have played something like that. So then just completing the development, and at very least white should be a pawn up, something like that. Because if you just give me a chance now to complete my development quickly, I definitely have some counterplay. I definitely have some counter chances. So after this g3, bishop g4, bishop f3, I already thought I was very close to coming up with great initiative. Probably I missed something here. Maybe something like c5 move, preparing this rook d8, trapping the queen. Just imagine that. Queen is being trapped here. But this also gives you the time to just bring the queen to a normal position on d2 or something. So I think rook d8 is forced. But here, maybe here I made not the best move. I mean, this h5 square looked very promising, unless you played bishop e2. So after bishop e2, it already looked very good. But now I can see what I missed. I could have regained the material after bishop e2 if I wanted. Just look at this nice tactical trick. I think I can take here. Bishop takes f3, right? You want to take the bishop, otherwise why did you play bishop e2? And now queen d2 check. King goes to b1 check. King goes to a1, and finally queen takes f3. Nice, isn't it? Yeah, I could have played this, and I missed this tactics because it was absolutely not obvious to me. During playing this blitz game. But this exists. And this shows the power of black's position already here. So like black has a better development, you just have a lot of weaknesses, and no surprises that this trick exists, right? Okay. Let's go further. Let's go further. Phenomen. Accept. Let's play. Wow. That was a tough one. That was a tough one. e4, e5. Knight f3, knight c6. Bishop b5, a6. Knight f6. Castles. d4, d3. Alright. Highly topical. Very popular. d3. Slow Spanish. So, in addition to bishop b7, I think bishop c5 is also absolutely playable. And, yeah. Bishop e7 is what usually leads to positions of the type I prefer to play. So slightly passive, but very solid, and yeah. So c3, let's castle. Simply castling. Now d6, d5 is also an interesting try. But what I want to achieve here is just like Smyslov variation with the move d3. So in the majority of cases, white inevitably plays d4 later, which leads to a transposition. I mean, h3, okay, bishop f8. And if compared to normal Smyslov variation with the d4 already played here, I have kind of extra tempo. Sorry, b3. I can't even probably understand what is the reason of playing b3, because white wants definitely to play d4, and he doesn't want to weaken c4 square after that, so controlling it in advance. So every time when I see something like b3, d3, c3, I want to get the control over dark squares somehow, like b4. But here, if I play b4, then after cb4, cb4, d4, well, I don't really get anything. So now I start looking at d5, more aggressive approach. After ed5, knight e5, I attack c3. That's the idea. So let's try this. I like it more. Interesting, isn't it? Just 4 pawns on the 5th rank. There are so many different advances possible, like d4, c4, b4. White has to watch everything here. So knight takes d5, now attacking c3. That's what I wanted to achieve. Queen d2. All right. So now what this bishop c1 is going to do? Maybe to go to b2, maybe to a3. Both scenarios are pretty cool. So now I don't see the reason of having the knight on a5. So let's go back to c6, just a normal central position. And the only piece that really irritates me now is the bishop on d7. So it's kind of placed not very logically within this setup. So if I would have a chance, I would definitely improved its position, but let's see. Maybe I will just sacrifice it on h3 one day, if it is necessary, of course, to sacrifice anything in this position, but can be also an interesting idea. What if I just take on c3 now? So knight c3, queen c3, b4, takes on a3. Looks an interesting transposition. Let's try it. So at least I grab the bishop. My pawn structure becomes not that flexible after that, but if white saves the pawn, I mean queen c3, b4, and then queen b2, queen a3, then c4 is interesting, just opening up the position. Yeah, nice. If bishop c5, I would take on c5, and after queen c3, there's bishop b4, just winning the exchange. And if white ignores my knight on c3, alright, I kind of have extra pawn. But maybe I'm too optimistic. So let's say after bishop b2, my knight is hanging, right? So if I go to d5, knight e5 is possible. But this change of the pawn structure is kind of very good for me. So there will be this d3 pawn, this ugly bishop on c2, and other interesting advantages. But let's check b4 first. b4, bishop c3, takes c3, queen c3, then c4, intending to occupy b4 square with the bishop, forces white to take with the queen, where after I have something like rook c8, creating sort of knight b4, taking that bishop, knight d4, damaging the pawn structure, should be very promising. So let's play b4 instead. Let's play b4. So bishop c3 takes, queen c3, c4. Just opening up a position, having a pair of bishops. Creating sort of bishop b4. Queen takes c4. Rook c8. Sacrificing some material, but creating a lot of threats. And I don't think that white will have a chance to protect everything there. What's interesting here, I didn't even calculate knight takes c5, but this looks very natural. But then bishop b4, knight c6, bishop c3, knight d8, I just take on e1. Yeah, that's why I didn't calculate it. That's why I didn't calculate it, so it's clear. More or less. Alright, a3. Now I should take on d3 or b3. And that is what I probably underestimated. This simple a3. So now white's pieces are also quite active. Yeah, position becomes very interesting. Very interesting position. Let's put the rook on c8, just completing a development. Okay, quite passive. Knight d4, wanna put the knight in the center. But first, I'm gonna occupy this position with the queen, controlling d4 additionally, and intending to put the bishop on c5 maybe. Another idea is just to have the possibility to occupy d4 and then replacing that knight with a piece, not with a pawn. Here I think I can afford taking on a3, but this starts looking very dangerous on the queen side. Let's take it. Come on, I don't have the time. I have a feeling that I'm just gonna lose this game because I'm too slow. Position, of course, was very interesting, but I was just too slow. But okay, still have some time, so let's try to convert it. I mean, have extra pawn now. Less than 20 seconds. My goodness. That is very bad. What I just did. Oh. It's possible to take on a5, by the way. That was a move. Now I'm happy, more or less. With the... Oh my goodness! Yeah, shit happens, guys. Shit happens. Alright. Oops. Oh, thank you. It's kind of surprise. Oops, lost some time. All right, yeah, that was a crazy game. That was a crazy game. Yeah, a lot of things we can say about this, but definitely b3 isn't a move. So if you want to play this, I mean, you can try something without h3 first of all. Otherwise, you just don't get the advantage. So if h3 is just a transposition to normal Smyslov variation, and kind of not clear why you give up a tempo. So I would have played something like knight g3 without h3, trying to maybe play d4 as soon as possible, just to bring bishop to c2, then d4. So to avoid playing h3, but h3, okay. Now I have no problems after this, c5, I think. And after b3, d5, I'm also fine. So it was very interesting position. Here black had a lot of different ways to play. For example, I don't understand why didn't I even consider queen a5 move here. Was really kind of natural. So forcing the bishop back to b2, and now simply something like, I don't know, rook d8, then bishop c8, and I control the board. I simply control everything here. It looks very good. But okay, I play something like knight c3. It can't be bad. Bishop goes back to b2. Now b4. Knight e5 was also good. Just going away, and after this, I mean, black's position is quite comfortable. I can bring my queen even to h4 here, and just controlling again a lot. I can probably simply prepare something against d3 pawn, but we can notice that white has a chance to play d4 very soon. But it may be potentially not that great in general, because this bishop on e5 will be seriously limited. So I would say that something like queen h4 looks cool here, after all, because if now white plays something like d4, he has to understand that there is something like f6. But there is also a counter trick like d takes c5, and the knight on d5 will be hanging. That is, yeah. Interesting position, but absolutely unclear. So after d4, maybe c4 is a correct decision, creating sort of bishop b4, creating a passed pawn, and controlling d3 square, preventing queen d3 and queen h7. So the question in chat, lost with a 1547? Yeah, so what? The guy played very good. I mean, after some mistakes from my side, he started playing very good. So it's possible to lose against everybody. Come on. Yeah. Okay, so that was also promising. I mean, I decided to play b4 because I saw some interesting lines after that. So c4, creating a sort of bishop b4, and I thought after queen takes c4 and rook c8, simple move, just activating the rook, creating sort of knight b4, attacking the queen and the bishop, or knight d4, attacking at least the queen and the knight, damaging the pawn structure. I had very promising position. So I thought there would be something like bishop d1 maybe, but this looks really ugly. And here I wanted to play something like maybe queen a5 to start with. Maybe just immediate knight e4 also deserves attention. I don't know, but well, I think it's not really pleasant to play this with white. However, here I don't see the clear way. So maybe knight b4 instead. Yeah, like protecting a6, controlling also a lot of squares here. And after queen goes to e4, because I can see only e4 and h4, but e4 at least protects d3. I have a chance to play bishop c6 at least, attacking the queen and getting this pawn d3 next move. So something like that. All right. So, well, absolutely unclear. Yeah, but a3. a3 was a strong move. a3 was a good idea, I think. Unless there is a simple tactics refuting this a3. But I didn't see this during the game, and I don't see it now. There are just... yeah, two threats, d takes c4 and b c4, and I have to take one of the pawns. Probably I took the wrong pawn. Probably not, I don't know. But after cb3, it feels like white is very close to solving the problems. Here after rook c8, I expected something like bishop c4, simply covering the queen and preparing something like queen b3 maybe. If knight a5, then e5 pawn is hanging. After this, well, probably black still has some chances, but not more than that. So I guess the safest option was just to play a4, maybe queen a2, just protecting a3 and attacking f7. And position should be more or less balanced, I think. Yeah, black has pair of bishops, of course, and position is open. So potentially there are some possibilities to grab the initiative, but when you play Blitz game, I mean, it's not that easy, at least for me. All right. Let's go further. Let's go further. Here is Pawn Holder, Grandmaster, 2947 currently. And with black. All right. Let us try. Let us try to play this in game. So what do we have here? Nimzo. Or not. No. So a hybrid of Nimzo and Queen's Indian. Extremely annoying opening for black. Okay. As far as I remember, I have to damage this pawn structure and then to come up with developing moves. Okay, rook b1. Just intending to play c5, I guess. Right, what if I just play knight e7, c5, dc5, bishop b5 is potentially very annoying. So how can I solve this problem? I can probably play c7, c5 if I want. Yeah, I guess this is the move. Just c5. Yeah, risky. Let's try it. At least I stopped White's main idea. This c4, c5. Potentially looks very dangerous. Yeah. Even if it is a sacrifice. That's kind of very annoying sacrifice. Activating bishop f1. So with the help of c5, I kind of stop all these pawns there, but at the same time, I make a pawn move. Quite an open position, so potentially dangerous. Also do what? Weaken d6. But potentially I have knight takes g3 at any moment. Just getting rid of that bishop. For example, now, I think I can take on g3 if I want, and then take on c5. I can start with dc5, but in this case, bishop e5 is possible. Knight takes c5 leads to rook d1, just attacking d6. That's annoying. So I'd rather get rid of this bishop and then take on c5 with the d pawn. Looks more or less safe. Takes here. So if I manage to find a good square for my king, then I will be more or less happy with the pawn structure, because I think my pawn structure should be slightly better long term. But if I fail to find a good square for my king, I'm in trouble, of course. g5 isn't handing because I have queen takes g5. So this is fine. Queen a4, well, I can meet with bishop c6, but I also have in mind, just for instance, like king f8, king g7, for example. Maybe just to do it right now. Why not? King on g7 should be not that bad. Now let's go there. Sort of manual castling. That should be just fine because diagonal a1, h8 is completely closed. So my king should feel very safe there. But queen d1, seriously? What's the reason? What's the point? I mean, I can take... Now we have an endgame. Which is cool because the pawn structure is great for me. And I think I can take here. And king e7 now. Alright. That was predictable. What I wanted to do here. Knight d7. So again, I think that long term my knight should be at least not worse than that bishop, because this bishop doesn't have a lot of objects of attack. If there is even something exists, I mean, can't see that. And this pawn c4, c3 will be very weak. So let's start maneuvering. Let's start maneuvering. Okay, I don't want to lose pawn. Oh my goodness, that was a serious blunder. My fucking god. Oh, that was so bad. I mean, it was really bad, you know, like a Patzer style. Yeah, I should have captured on f4, of course, and then doing anything else. Shit. Oh, shit. This looks so awful, you know. Yeah, alright. Let's forget about it quickly. My goodness, how is it even possible to blunder this way? Yeah, that is amazing. Just amazing how stupid it was. Of course, if I don't, blunder this pawn on g5, I'm absolutely fine. So I should have captured on g4, I think, prior to playing this knight f6. Stupid blunder. All right. Okay. I think there is no even a single chance now. Just a very bad position. Very, very stupid blunder. Yeah, nice. Very nice, right? And there is no defense against the checkmate. Fucking crap. All right. Oh, no checkmate. Okay. Okay, I even won because of this last pawn on c5, but of course it was a complete crap. There was a checkmate after king e8, by the way. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that was so badly played by me. I mean, yeah, king e6. Look, there are two squares, right? Bishop c6, bishop h5. Yeah, and if I make a move with the knight, I can't cover both, I mean, right? So, yeah, that was fun. It took swung. Yeah, but let's come back to the opening stage. I mean, queen d1 can't be that promising. So after queen d1, I just take it. Come on. Maybe Maybe I just overestimated my chances after queen d1. Most likely, there is also an easier way to play. Something like queen f6 looked very good as well, as I can see it now. So c3 is under attack. Look at this. If queen d6 check, okay, I just play king g7. I'm absolutely fine. I think I'm already better because I have a better development. c3 is hanging. Pawn structure is better for me. Everything is better. So queen d6, queen f6, what to do here? There is no danger. If white spent the time on protecting c3 pawn somehow, queen c2 or queen d2, then I just play king g7 and continue according to the plan. By the way, bishop f3 is also a threat here, so white has to be careful here. Yeah, queen f6 was much better than this crap. Well, I don't understand why did I take. Why did I take on d1? So queen d1, well, okay, queen d1 was also good. Here I took on f3. I played this king e7. Everything was fine until I played this knight f6 move. That was wrong. That was definitely wrong. So here, instead of playing that, I should have captured on f6, I think. And after e takes f6, just knight f6 here. So there is no trick. There is no trick with f takes g5 anymore. And I can maneuver my knight through e8 to d6 later on. I can consider plans like h5. So I don't think white has anything active here. So it's probably possible to bring the bishop to f3. Okay, there might be a slight problem with the h-pawn, but in general, black is fine here. But not that great as I expected, in fact. So I thought that I would be fine just having the pawn on g5. Maybe playing g4 at some point. Maybe g4 is a move here, but I don't want to create this weakness, I mean vulnerability after rook h4. So after rook h4, potentially I have a problem with protecting everything which is hanging here. Yeah, so most likely I just overestimated my chances in this endgame. Most likely, again, I should have avoided taking on f3. So there was, I guess, an interesting option for me to play something like... No, if I play f6, then rook d8, of course. No, I simply don't have time to coordinate my pieces here if I don't take on f3. Or... No, there is king g7 move, in fact. Yeah, king g7 protecting everything. There is no rook d7, d8 is covered. Yeah, king g7 was a move, come on. Why didn't I play this? Another question. So I don't have to take on f3 here. And then I gradually start improving my position, like knight somewhere, maybe even to a6, just to have the time to bring the rook to d8 to exchange rooks and then to remaneuver it, reactivate it somehow. Or maybe just simple knight c6, knight a5, why not? Also a possibility. But okay, thanks for the game. It was ugly, of course, but yeah. Blitz is Blitz. Alright, except Sebi is the next. I'm gonna play 2 or 3 more. Let's play d6. And bishop e6. Alright, Philidor. Philidor defends. One of tricky lines. d3. So I do believe that d4 is a great option. d3 is just too slow, but maybe also playable. Should be playable, of course, why not? So let's keep developing the pieces. Alright. Now I guess I can play queen f6. Just to control d4 and prevent d4. Of course, I can't castle alone unless I control g5 or my queen is not on f6. Just have to keep it in mind. Bishop g5 already. Here I wanted just to bring the queen to g6. Just like an exchange variation of Ruy Lopez, but here instead of having double pawn c7, c6, I have e6, e5. So, slightly different, right? Knight c3. Alright, so knight b5 is potentially a threat, but I guess it's not that dangerous. So let's play bishop e7. This looks very natural. To try to get rid of this stupid bishop. That's why I don't think bishop g5 is a good move. Because now after bishop e7, there is kind of bad choice between just giving them a chance to get rid of this bishop or going away losing the time. And for queen d2, there is a great incentive for me now to play knight d4. I think knight d4 is very strong. And I think queen d2 is kind of blunder. So now if bishop e7, then knight f3 check, knight d2 wins. And if knight takes d4, bishop g5 intermediate move. And then I definitely grab some material. Don't know which one, but probably just a piece. Yeah. Yeah, knight e4 now takes on g5. By the way, ed4 is also a move here. What is better? So ed4, bishop e7 takes c3, knight e7 is good for black. That's clear, but bishop g5, there is something like f4. But okay, can't be bad for black. All right. f4, and now I can take on d4. That was my intention, just to take on d4 now. And if it takes on g5, I take on c3. If knight b5, then bishop d8. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Extra piece. Extra piece is here. What is the best way to play now? Just to take on g5 looks natural. Or just a castle looks also great. g5 is a tactical solution because after queen c7 I have queen c5. I don't think I blunder anything there, but there is queen b3 potentially annoying. So let's just castle. I mean, why not? h4, okay. Let's undermine that. So kind of couple of lost threads, feels like that. So let's play a6. Have to be careful not to blunder everything here, because I'm getting tired. Let's take here. And now it feels like the great moment to complete the development. So knight e7 gets to the game with the decisive effect. Just to c6, attacking the queen, forcing the queen to a bad position. Somewhere on d2 where it is not active whatsoever. And then we will see what to do. Maybe just rook h5, attacking g5 or something. But if queen a4, okay, just take on g5, of course. So extra minor piece, no compensation. I think it's time to resign. Moreover, I have more time on the clock. Okay, this game was not very typical because usually Sebi plays much better. Bishop g5 I think was not great because this gave me bishop e7 tempo, but here definitely it was better just to go away with the bishop somewhere on e3. Preparing d4, queen d2 is just a blunder. After knight d4, I think there is no defense, and then just come out with the extra material. Even if white plays something like h4 here, I just take on f3 and then h6 wins the piece. So everything loses the piece here after queen d2. But move ago, after taking on e6, or a couple of moves ago, I think d3 is too modest. Much better is to play d4, more aggressive style. Yeah, leads to much better positions than after d3, I guess. So let's go further, and as I said before, just a few games. Let us start with Schellingford. I mean, Möbius is the next definitely, but want to play Schelling until I'm like completely finished. And again, I'm playing with white. It's kind of pattern. So against Schelling, I usually play with white, and here I want to try something like this. So, like following my teammate Lawrence Trent. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, I don't know. Have no idea. Let's see. What is that? I don't even know what to play here. I mean, just repeat some moves. Should be interesting at least, if compared to the main line. Like, okay. What if just take on e4 and play knight g5, probably just cd4. Maybe just bishop to d3. Maybe I'm just repeating the game against Perrin. Maybe, I'm not sure. Feels like that. cd4, okay. Knight takes d4. Just taking on h7. No. Taking on h7 was played not in this position for sure. And slightly different. So yeah, I think taking on d4 should be played here. Alright. Let's protect it. So queen g4 or what? What to do here? I have no idea. Completely new position to me. Starting from move like number 4 or something. Okay. Something like b4 can be potentially interesting as well. Okay, bishop e3 maybe. But then knight takes e5, come on. It's just bad. Yeah, it would be necessary to ask Lawrence for some help, because I have no idea what to do here. I mean, let's take here. Having some tiny chances. Right, now queen g4, attacking g7 or queen f3, attacking the bishop, forcing it back to c5, and then probably something like b4, bishop e3 with sort of initiative, but I'm not sure if it gives me anything, but at least it feels not that entirely bad. Oh yeah, very stupid game. At least so far. At least it looks like that. Alright. Time to regain the pawn. Of course, black is much better. Lawrence also played bishop h7 against Perrin. but in an absolutely different position. All right. Should go back. Otherwise, I'm just lost. I'm anyway lost, I think. So the pawn structure is just awful. But okay. Too many hanging pieces, pawns, so forth. Just a very bad position. Maybe I will find some tricks. Maybe I will find some tricks. For example, no, bishop f4 is just bad. Okay, what about just doing something with this pawn? So a6, a7. Maybe I should have played a6. Who knows? Yeah, I have a bad position just as usual against Schelling and Caracan with white. Just a good tradition for late Friday night's Banter Blitz, but at least this, I mean, what is going on in this game looks much better than the main line, for sure. At least it is fun, right? Well, of course. We all have our own tastes. But for me, it's fun. Yeah, it was better for me to play bishop f4 and not to sacrifice the pawn this way. Oh, come on. In any case, this position is bad. So bishop c5 is a threat now. Bishop c5 is a very annoying threat, so probably I have to put the queen here. I need to just prevent bishop c5 at least. I guess the rook will take on a5. Okay. Oh, I lost the rook on b1. Yeah. That was very sneaky, tricky shit. Okay, resign. Alright, there is nothing to comment. I have to actually investigate this line more. My opponent was very well prepared, so everything was fine. So here, of course, I had some chances probably in this position. Instead of playing rook b1, I should have played something like bishop f4 or maybe bishop d4. Yeah, maybe bishop d, maybe even bishop b6. I don't know, just protecting the pawn, and still have some chances because black's pieces are not that coordinated. So everything that black has here is just a good pawn structure. Yeah, so probably this giving up a pawn on g3 was just stupid. Yeah, here after queen f6, of course, there are threats of g5 and e5. But I can do what? I can do nothing, actually. That's why bishop f4 is bad. So I guess, yeah, bishop b6 was kind of last chance of mine. Bringing the bishop here, controlling d8, preventing castling, protecting my main power here, this pawn on a5. And then trying to do something with my queen and the rook against the queen and the bishop. So I don't know. Position is unclear, but black is definitely better here. That's for sure. Or maybe position is balanced. I don't know. Have no idea, guys. Thanks for the game. And let's play Johann Wilhelm Möbius. Will be the last game today. Oh. That was very bitter defeat, you know. But okay. It's a tradition to lose to Shelling in Caracan with white. Every fucking week. Let's play Caracan. D4. D5. How do you play this? I don't know. D takes E4. Bishop F5. Bishop G6. Never seen this position from, you know, black's perspective. Okay, not even playing this H4. Alright. Okay. Whew. So white castle is short. Just realized that. Yeah, interesting thing. I have no idea what to do here. Let's try something ugly. I don't know. Let's bring another knight to f6. So probably next time against Shelling I will play something like, I don't know, b3. There is also c6 possible, but alright. At least no Caracan. Starts being really annoying. Okay, what do we have here? Knight on e5 is strong. Knight on e5 is strong, but I can play c5 now. I can play knight h6. Bring the knight to f5 gradually. But there is bishop f4 coming, which may be or maybe not that dangerous. Okay, I will try this c5. So what white is going to do with the pawn d4? Just bishop e3. But then cd4 is potentially 9. I can also do something like, I don't know, knight h6, knight f5. The maneuver I've prepared. Yeah, this Caracan is not that bad. Actually, maybe it makes sense for me to play this with black sometimes. I got no idea. Okay, queen a4, very good. Very good move. I mean, I didn't want it to happen, but it happened. Alright. Okay, so there is a possibility of taking on f2 or something at some point. Maybe now? No, I think after b4 I have a better way to play. Bishop d4 simply. Like, I don't know, winning some material maybe. Okay, I can probably just take on a1 here. I can't see why it should be bad. Rook h4 is also very, very tempting to play. What is better? I have no idea. So rook h4, knight g6, rook f4, knight f4, queen f4, bishop takes a1. I think I'm fine there, everywhere. There is no checkmate, I guess, after knight f7. So yeah, let's play this. Just attacking the bishop. Funny that this knight g8 doesn't even try to move. But if it should, I think it would go to f5 through h6 most likely. Okay, bishop g5. Now I think I can simply take on e5. This looks like a good move. Now I can take here. And it looks like a geometry like g5, bishop g5 and queen e5, attacking the rook on a1 and bishop on g5. Should be something like that. Oh, why did I do that? Come on. I'm just a stupid guy because after bishop g5, queen e5, there's fucking bishop f6. Come on. Oh, my goodness, I'm just, yeah, falling asleep. So I should have played like everything else. g5 was so stupid. Can't even imagine I played that. All right. Now I'm just playing a pawn down. Oh my god. Everything was better than that. I mean, felt like already absolutely winning position. You know. How come I just misplayed it so badly? Okay, what to do now? How to save this? Yeah, that is just crap. Complete crap. I mean, lost 3 games or something. Just very bad. Whew. No. We just lost, but do I have anything better? I don't think so. Yeah. Oh. There is a rook. But I lost some time, or not? No, I won. Okay. Was really happy, but that was complete crap. That was a complete crap, not a game. Not a game at all. Sorry for that. Let's come back to this critical moment, let's call it this way. So after bishop g5, it feels like it was absolutely winning for black, but I somehow misplayed all this. So yeah, bishop g5. Maybe it wasn't even winning. I mean, I should have played something. Yeah, I should have simply captured on a1, right? Yeah, bishop takes a1 first. And now after bishop takes h4, I can take on e5 with the extra minor piece. That's it. Game over. And if after bishop takes a1, white takes on a1, I just take on e5 with the absolutely winning position. Yeah, that was just a pattern mistake. I mean, I just took on e5 instead. After bishop h4, bishop a1, rook a1, right. Position is materially balanced, but here I completely misplayed it. So I played g5, forgetting about bishop f6 possibility. That was amazing crap. That was just an amazing crap. I don't know how this ever happened. So I could have played something normal, like even queen takes c4. There is no rook c1, right? And I had the time to regroup if necessary, so just winning some material instead of giving up a material. I probably just queen e5 immediately. This led to bishop f6, knight f6, and so forth. Unfortunately, there is no idea based on queen e5, queen a1, and so on, because queen a4 just controls d1 square. That's really bad. But okay, g5 was even worse. I mean, that was just very stupid. Sorry for that. Okay, I think it's time to finish today's episode, today's stream, because it starts looking very bad. In any case, thanks a lot for being with me. Thanks a lot for your patience, because I know that the first part was more or less fine, but then the second part was just awful. I do hope that at least my explanations helped you a bit to understand, or maybe to find out something new about chess. Of course, not this game, but yeah, some games before. It was not that bad. See you next Tuesday on Chess24. I mean, premium users, during our next episode of Training Tuesday, Halloween edition. So as Zweihausek said, you should do something special. You should prepare something special for this episode, and I will try. So you're welcome. Have a nice weekend and take care. See you very soon. Bye bye.